The price of wealth, the temptation. In the heart of Gonaives, where the bustling markets echoed with the vibrant rhythm of Haitian life, there lived a man named Jacques. Jacques was an ordinary man, a humble tailor by trade, who dreamt of a life beyond his modest means. His small shop was nestled between two grand buildings, a stark reminder of the wealth that seemed just out of his reach. Each stitch he made, each fabric he measured, felt like a step further away from the opulence he so desired. Jacques' yearning for wealth was not born out of mere greed but from a deep-seated desire to provide a better life for his family. His wife, Marie, and their two children deserved more than the hand-to-mouth existence they led. The constant struggle to make ends meet weighed heavily on him, and the whispers of a better life haunted his dreams. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the streets were bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Jacques encountered a mysterious figure. This man, with eyes as dark as the midnight sky and a presence that seemed to shimmer in the dim light, introduced himself as Maître Noir. There was an aura about him that sent a shiver down Jacques' spine, yet he felt inexplicably drawn to this stranger. "Jacques," Maître Noir spoke, his voice smooth and hypnotic, "I know what you desire. Wealth, prosperity, a life free from struggle. I can offer you all of this and more." Jacques' heart raced. The offer was tempting, but he was not one to easily trust strangers, especially those who seemed to appear out of thin air. "And what do you want in return?" Jacques asked, his voice steady despite the unease gnawing at him. "A small favor," Maître Noir replied with a sly smile. "Nothing that would harm you or your loved ones. Just a token of your gratitude once you have achieved your desires." The vagueness of the favor made Jacques hesitate, but the lure of wealth was too strong. The thought of his children never going to bed hungry, of Marie wearing fine clothes and jewelry, was intoxicating. After a moment's pause, Jacques nodded. "Very well, I accept your offer." With a swift motion, Maître Noir produced a scroll and a quill. "Sign here," he instructed. Jacques took the quill, dipped it in ink, and signed his name with a flourish. As soon as the ink dried, Maître Noir vanished into the shadows, leaving Jacques to ponder the gravity of what he had just done. The rise to riches. The days that followed were nothing short of miraculous. Jacques' business began to flourish in ways he had never imagined. Orders poured in from all corners of the city, and his tailor shop was soon the most sought-after establishment in Port-au-Prince. He hired additional tailors, expanded his shop, and even opened new branches in other parts of the city. With his newfound wealth, Jacques moved his family into a grand mansion overlooking the bay. The house, with its sprawling gardens and luxurious interiors, was a far cry from their previous humble abode. Marie and the children revealed their new life, enjoying the finer things that wealth could buy. Jacques, too, basked in the adoration and respect that came with his success. However, as the months turned into years, Jacques began to notice subtle changes. His dreams, once filled with visions of prosperity, now took on a darker tone. He would often wake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, with the image of Maître Noir's piercing eyes etched in his mind. The mysterious favor he owed weighed heavily on his conscience, though he tried to push the thought aside. The unraveling. One stormy night, as thunder rumbled in the distance and rain lashed against the windows, Jacques found himself standing in his opulent study, staring at the very scroll he had signed years ago. The ink, now faded, seemed to pulsate with an eerie light. As he gazed at the parchment, the room grew colder, and the shadows deepened. Without warning, Maître Noir appeared before him, his presence as unsettling as ever. "Jacques," he intoned, "the time has come for you to fulfill your end of the bargain." Jacques' heart pounded in his chest. "What do you want from me?" he demanded, his voice trembling. Maître Noir's smile was devoid of warmth. "You will know soon enough. For now, prepare yourself." The price of wealth is not paid in gold, but in something far more precious. With that cryptic warning, Maître Noir vanished, leaving Jacques alone with his fears. The days that followed were fraught with tension. Jacques could no longer enjoy the trappings of his wealth, for he knew that something terrible was on the horizon. His once vibrant personality became overshadowed by paranoia and dread. The consequences. It was during a lavish party at his mansion that Jacques' worst fears were realized. As guests danced and laughed, a sudden chill swept through the room. The lights flickered, and the air grew thick with an oppressive energy. Maître Noir materialized in the center of the ballroom, his eyes locking onto Jacques with an intensity that froze him in place. "Ladies and gentlemen," Maître Noir announced, his voice cutting through the music, "tonight, we witness the fulfillment of a pact." The guests, oblivious to the supernatural undercurrents, watched in confusion as Maître Noir approached Jacques. "Your wealth was given to you at a cost," he continued. "Now, the price must be paid." Before Jacques could react, he felt an excruciating pain in his chest. It was as if his very soul was being ripped from his body. He fell to the floor, gasping for breath, as Maître Noir stood over him. "The price of wealth," Maître Noir said softly, "is your very essence. You will live, but you will no longer be the man you once were." As Jacques writhed in agony, he felt his life force being drained away. His memories, his emotions, his very humanity were stripped from him, leaving behind an empty shell. When the pain finally subsided, he struggled to his feet, but he was no longer the same. His eyes, once full of life and ambition, were now hollow and devoid of emotion. The aftermath. Jacques' transformation was swift and brutal. His wealth remained, but he was a shadow of his former self. The once loving husband and father became distant and cold, unable to connect with his family. Marie and the children were heartbroken, watching helplessly as the man they loved slipped away. The mansion, once a symbol of their success, became a prison. The rooms that had echoed with laughter now felt haunted by a lingering sadness. Jacques wandered the halls aimlessly, his mind a fog of fragmented thoughts. He could no longer find joy in the riches he had so desperately sought. Word of Jacques' condition spread throughout Gonaives, and soon, the tailor who had risen to great heights became a cautionary tale. People spoke of the mysterious pact and the dire consequences that followed. Some believed that Jacques had been cursed, while others saw it as a punishment for his greed. In the years that followed, Jacques' business slowly declined. Customers who had once flocked to his shop now avoided it, wary of the dark aura that surrounded him. The grand mansion fell into disrepair, its once pristine gardens overgrown with weeds. The redemption. Despite the darkness that had consumed his life, a glimmer of hope remained. Marie, steadfast in her love, refused to give up on her husband. She sought out every possible remedy, consulting with doctors, priests, and even voodoo practitioners, in the hope of breaking the curse that had befallen Jacques. One day, as Marie wandered the bustling streets of Gonaives, she encountered an old woman known for her wisdom and mystical knowledge. The woman, named Mambo Eloise, listened intently to Marie's plight and agreed to help. "Your husband made a pact with forces beyond his understanding," Mambo Eloise explained. "But there is a way to restore him, though it will not be easy." Marie nodded, determination etched on her face. "I will do whatever it takes to bring him back." Mambo Eloise guided Marie through a series of rituals, invoking the spirits of the ancestors and seeking their aid. The process was arduous and fraught with challenges, but Marie's unwavering love and faith gave her the strength to persevere. On the final night of the rituals, as the moon cast its silver light over the city, Mambo Eloise and Marie stood before Jacques, who lay motionless on the floor. The air crackled with energy as they chanted, calling upon the spirits to heal the broken man before them. The return. As the final incantation echoed through the room, A blinding light enveloped Jacques. He gasped for breath, his eyes snapping open as the darkness that had gripped him began to lift. Slowly, the color returned to his cheeks, and the emptiness in his gaze was replaced with a flicker of recognition. "Marie?" he whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. Marie rushed to his side, tears streaming down her face. "Jacques, you're back. I've missed you so much." Jacques embraced his wife, the weight of the past years falling away. He felt the warmth of her love, the strength of her devotion, and knew that he had been given a second chance. The pact with Maitre Noir had nearly destroyed him, but the power of love had ultimately triumphed. In the days that followed, Jacques worked tirelessly to rebuild his life. He repaired the damage to his business, rekindled his relationships with his family, and vowed never to let greed overshadow what truly mattered. The experience had humbled him, teaching him that true wealth was not measured in gold or possessions but in the love and connections he cherished. Epilogue. The Legacy. Jacques' story became a legend in Gonaives, a tale of caution and redemption passed down through generations. It served as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the enduring power of love. Though Jacques never fully recovered from the scars left by his encounter with the supernatural, he found peace in knowing that he had overcome the darkness with the help of those who loved him. His life, once driven by the pursuit of wealth, became a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the value of true riches. In the end, Jacques learned that the price of wealth was far greater than he had ever imagined. But it was a lesson that ultimately led him to a deeper understanding of what it meant to truly live.